Hi, welcome to Sense number 3, which is color. In honor of that, I thought I would wear a colorful shirt, which I'm usually in black, so this is a little bit different for me, but I love it. I love wearing color too. So before we start, please do pull out your journal and go ahead and do your journal work, which is, as always, going to be 2 parts. 1, please note your mood between 1 and 10, 1 being you want to throw rocks at everyone, 10 being you want to skip down the street, and then take as little or as much time as you'd like to go ahead and journal your perceptions about anything you feel to write about today in your life. This is going to be so useful to us during the course, and also it's just a way to start our activity together in a more connected place. It's an opportunity to connect in with ourselves and start from there. So I really like that. I didn't plan on starting each day with a quote, but I ran into another one that I really liked and thought was a pretty good intro to today. And that is, in short, the brain evolved in a biocentric world. This is an Edward O. Wilson quote. So the brain evolved in a biocentric world. The brain evolved in the natural world. So this is talking about our evolution as a species in nature, in wild nature. And I think this is something that we so easily forget, and that in our current culture, we don't really typically acknowledge or even realize. So just on a very basic level, if we observe ourselves and our bodies, we will note that generally we sleep at night and we're awake during the day. We are not nocturnal creatures. And if you're a nocturnal creature, you are in tune with a different cycle. But we as a species happen to be in tune with our sleep-wake cycle with the sun and the moon in that order. So just observing that, and we know scientifically that we are healthier and perform better in all arenas if we are in tune with that cycle. It's not just about getting enough sleep, it's also sleeping at the right times. So the more in sync with that we are, the healthier we are. And with electric lights, we just kind of blow past sundown, right? Like I have found myself just checking when is sundown tonight for some particular reason, like we're going to be out or something. So it's just something that we're not typically all that aware of because it's not a limitation for us anymore. We can just flip on a light and read all night long if we want to. So this is something I want to really bring in to our awareness today, and really bring into awareness with this course of our natural rhythms, and light, dark being one of them. So I did an experiment several years ago where I wanted to bring myself back into sync with that natural rhythm. And so I started not using any lights during after sundown. Nothing except for candles. And it was a big shocker for me to learn that you cannot read by candlelight, or at least I couldn't. So after I got past that, it went really well. I meant to do it, I think, for like a week, and ended up doing it for a very long period of time and felt amazing. Amazing. Like slept better, slept more, just was more productive. My mood was better. Just doing that was such a massive improvement in my quality of life. So I highly recommend that if you're able to do that. For me with Vivi, it kind of depends on your circumstances. So for us, I definitely have her go to bed at sundown, and I've been recently just going to bed then as well. And I'll tell you a couple reasons why I think that is, and I've been feeling much better and sleeping much better. But our apartment that we live in gets a lot of light in this area during the day, up until sundown. Other parts that we need to use in the latter parts of the day before the sun has gone down, or for instance, the kitchen and the dining room, get very little to no light. So actually, I have to be using those areas. It's still light outside, so the circadian rhythm is still happening where I'm on the light cycle. So I'm using those lights during that time. to prepare dinner and that kind of thing. And then after that, what I've started doing, here are my tips for you. So what I started doing was I ordered this Lumi bulb, and I got this on BLUBLOX. They also have a lot of other blue blocking sleep aids. So if you're not familiar with that, which you probably are, the reason we don't want to be on screens at night and directly before we go to bed, at least an hour before we go to bed, is because the blue light emitted from screens suppresses the melatonin production in our brains, and melatonin is the hormone that makes us feel sleepy and allows us to fall asleep easily at night. So if we're on our computers or even our phones without using, for instance, you can get glasses that block that blue light at this website, which I'll link below. But you can also get these bulbs, which I was not aware of. Been using this for about a week. They're LED red night Lumi flicker-free sleep bulbs. The reason flicker-free is so important is because when you are using LED lights, there is typically a flickering that's happening. We are not consciously aware of it, but subconsciously it is arousing to our nervous system. So it actually will impact our ability to go to sleep as well. So this rules that out and the blue light as well. So as soon as the sun goes down, Vivi and I are still maybe finishing up reading books, doing our sleep routine, which is also very beneficial, obviously, for adults as well, not just children, to wind your body down at night. We have the red bulb, and it is very red. It's a red bulb, but what I'm noticing is she's falling asleep faster, sleeping better, and I'm actually feeling really tired. So I sit with her in her room until she falls asleep, and it's usually just a matter of a few minutes. But I notice instead of wanting to go do, whatever I want to do after she goes to bed, is I'm ready to go to sleep. And knowing what I know about how amazing I felt when I was in sync with that sundown, sunup cycle, I'm all about it. So I've been just going to sleep right after she goes to sleep and feeling great, sleeping better, feeling amazing. The second tip I have for you is blackout curtains. This is something you probably already know about, but blackout curtains are just thick black curtains that you can actually put under your existing curtains or put over blinds. You just basically cover your windows with it at night. We live in an apartment building where there is lighting 24/7. We have lights directly under our bedroom windows. So blocking out that light, because any light coming in at night will affect your sleep. So even if you have little lights, I really don't know why everything for kids has these little, it's also a night light, and sometimes you can't turn it off. So what I've done is to cover those little lights. For instance, my printer is in my bedroom, and I've covered the light. So at night, it's covered with foil tape. I'll link all this stuff below. It's covered with foil tape so that the light doesn't shine through. And I've covered all of Vivi's little kind of off-on buttons on anything that's lighting up at night, and for me as well. So using the blackout curtains, the bulb, and the foil tape have been really life-changing for both of our sleep. So we're sleeping really well. And it's just another way also to imitate that total dark that we would get if we were in nature. I was just trying to figure out if I should mention this or not, but I guess I will. So also, the female menstrual cycle, right, is on a cycle as well with the moon. And some people say that sleeping with your blinds open or sleeping in some way, depending on your circumstances, where you can see the moon when it's a full moon, and then blacking out all of your lights the rest of the time, helps balance all of your hormonal systems and your sleep-wake cycle. So there's just a tip for you there. So I wanted to just bring that up. There are also many, many cycles. So this can be something that we're bringing in today, that we're becoming more aware of the cyclical, natural cycles in our life. So circadian rhythm is just one example of that. Also, if you look up circadian rhythm, you will find graphs or charts, they're visuals that will show you that your body is actually better at performing certain tasks at different times of the day, just naturally. And also, I became aware of this from a book by TONYA ZAVASTA. I couldn't find the exact book today when I was looking for it, but it's called Quantum Eating. And she talks about how the body actually, the organ systems within the body are actually more or less active during different hours of the day. So she actually plans her eating around that, and you could plan a lot of things around that just to get even more in sync with those natural cycles. So obviously our lifetime is a cycle, our sleep is a cycle, our organs go in a cycle, the seasons are in a cycle. Our natural life is about cycles. So the more we can kind of de-emphasize our intellectual kind of running over those cycles by using lights at night, that kind of thing, and paying more attention to, if you're a woman, your menstrual flow and when that's occurring, and noticing how it is in cycle with the moon, those kinds of things will just bring us more into awareness of all of those cycles and of our natural way of being, and back more into connection with our body. Because remember, our body is always in the present moment, and that's one of the amazing things that we get about doing this kind of thing that we're doing in this course, becoming more aware of our senses. Because anytime we are paying attention, anytime our attention is placed on or in the body and on the sensations we're experiencing, we can be nowhere but the present moment. So we're in the reality of what is, and that's what everyone's looking for in presence, right? In the power of now, all of that stuff. So it can be found by just connecting in with the body, and that's exactly what we're doing here. So let's get to our activity today about color. And this is where we're going to talk about our natural attractions toward color in the natural world. So I just want to give you an example. So I'm looking here, and this is just, I didn't even plan this. This is not a plant. This plant is not a plant in this video. I'm just noticing, look at the beautiful colors on this plant. Isn't it so gorgeous? This is just one example, and there aren't even any flowers on this plant. It's just beautiful. So what I'd love to encourage you to do today for the activity is to get in contact with a wild natural area. It can be a potted plant in your house. Like I always say, the more you are enveloped in nature, the more integrated you are in it, like feet in the dirt, out there breathing the air, out there breathing the compounds from the tree, all of that, the better, the more results, the more positive results you're going to get out of this. But if the best you can do is a potted plant or some dried flowers, always just do your best. And it could be a hillside, it doesn't have to be a plant, just a wild natural area. And we're going to do what we always do now, which is to ask permission from that area. Can I join you? Is that okay? Wait a few seconds. If you still feel naturally attracted to join that area. I didn't mention, but as always, when we're choosing an area initially to engage with, we want to just notice where we're naturally attracted to go to. So then we're going to ask permission, and then we're just going to be with that area. And remember that nature is non-lingual. It doesn't use words. It uses all kinds of communication, but it doesn't use words. So we want to be out there when we're out there, not labeling things and wondering, what is this plant called? Or, oh, I think that bird is this or that. Like, none of that really. If it comes in, just notice it and let it go by like the clouds in the sky, a thought in your mind, just let it float through. But we're not out there to label or to intellectually figure anything out. We're in there with that natural area to be. We're just being, and we're noticing our body. We're noticing our natural attractions. So today, if you can get there, and I'm so sorry this video is up late today, but it is. So we're going to be noticing colors today. Just notice all of the beautiful colors in nature. Or maybe it's all shades of brown on, for instance, the hillside across from me is all browning plants, but notice the colors and the tones and the variation in all of those colors. And then also notice, are you attracted to certain colors? What I noticed when I did that here with my plants previously, what I noticed was I was really attracted to the vibrant green of the new leaves. I'm positive there's a biological reason for that, and probably because it means fresh if it's a plant we're going to eat. That's just a guess for me, but we're not actually going to be intellectually going through all of that. So anything you notice, you can note it down in your notebook. Absolutely anything that you feel to write down, just pull out your notebook if you have it with you. I suggest having it with you and just making notes of anything you're noticing, particularly about your attractions in nature. That's what we're going to be focusing on, your natural attractions. But anything else that occurs to you, who knows what it's coming up for. It's there for a reason. So that's our activity today. Just notice those attractions, really enjoy it, and then before you conclude the activity, go ahead and write down your 1 to 10 mood indicator and just any notes you feel to write that you haven't already written. So have a wonderful connected day, and I'll see you all tomorrow.